Howdy, folks. I'm Jeff, and this is Tools, Technology, and Training. And the first of the month, we always highlight amazing women in our industry. And we're so pleased to have Tiffany Sherrado that moderates all this with us. And we want to give a shout out, a thank you to our sponsors that allow us to do this month after month. Thank you to Milton Industries, Z-Line by Milton, LTI. Promax, Steck, and we appreciate all their support that they give to our industry and then associated equipment. The blue battery chargers. I want the blue one. Those are made right here in the United States in St. Louis, Missouri. So let's go ahead and this month's topic is I didn't have a background in auto repair and I decided to own an auto shop. And so Tiffany has gathered a group of ladies here, and she's going to introduce them and one at a time, and we'll go in and listen to their story about some of their struggles and some of their problems and getting into the industry. Tiffany, go ahead and take it away.
Hey, Jeff, thanks for having us again. I thought since a couple times we have talked about how intimidating the automotive industry is to women who haven't been in the industry or been familiarized with the industry, maybe by family member that works there, that it would be fun just to feature some of our members who didn't have a background in automotive and were kind of dropped in it, so to speak. So my next guest is Crystal. Crystal, is it Shadis? Am I pronouncing that right, Crystal?
It is. It's Shadis. That's
Okay,
correct.
perfect. I don't think I've ever even said your last name. So
There's
now,
different
Crystal. Oh,
pronunciations.
go ahead. Yeah.
We get called Shadis. I can't name. I can't remember them all right now, but yeah, that
Yeah.
was the first one. No.
Probably like me. You'll answer to most anything. If it's close, yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
It's good
exactly.
enough.
I say that's when Jeff was saying Tiffany. Get
Yeah.
the first name
So
right.
yeah, so Crystal's from Alabama, and her situation's a little different. They bought a shop that was already up and running. And Crystal, you want to tell them what industry you were in before you got into the automotive industry?
Yes, I was actually in the dental field for 16 years.
Oh,
Yes.
smile.
Yep. So I actually went to college, was in pre-dentistry for a while. John and I met in high school. We were 15. And I told him, I said, I think I want to be a dentist. But I decided that I really like working in the lab. So that's what I did. I was a lab technician in a dental office. Um, I went through school and went right there, and I stayed with the same doctor for 16 years. And I learned a lot from him and his wife on how to treat employees. Um, and I learned about life balance before I even heard that term. Um, I valued them because I came from a home just raised by my dad. We would work on out in the backyard. We didn't have a shed or garage or anything like that. So when I needed to take off for my son, they were understanding. And I was one of the it was just me and my husband. We didn't have any family to be able to help us out. So I learned from them on how to treat employees. And so that was very helpful from them. But it was hard to move from that industry to this one. I moved a lot. I now am more of like in the desk in the office. When I would move from the lab to the other side, we had two suites. So I would see the people in the morning, know what was going on. I would actually go make the appliances and see them in the afternoon and deliver them. And so I got to see their new smile, their excitement. Um, and then when I moved to this field, I saw a different kind of excitement. I saw families that were needing their vehicle. So it was still like was still fulfillment, that you're doing something for people. So it was, but as far as my husband, he's been in the industry, different parts of it, from working at Advance Auto. He's worked at Goodyear, so he knows how those shops and businesses run. He worked at Ford dealership when he was younger, and he also would always do the fun stuff, working on cars in his friend's garage. He liked to blow Civic engines a lot, so they did a lot of engine swaps, and then it was transmissions and everything. Well, he thought he was going to go into more of the hospitality, in like a manager or something like that in hotels. So he was leaning in that position, but he really did like cars. So he started here, I believe it was about 13, might be 14 years ago. And he was as a technician in the back. One day, Miss Laura was she's up front, the phones were ringing a lot, and Jonathan was on his lunch. He came up, started answering the phones, and she saw how he was handling the customers. And she said, "Hey, I want to talk to you after work." So anyway, I wasn't there, so I don't know the whole story there. But fast forward, he was asked to try the front. She said, "Would you like to come to the AC?" So he came on front, he closed that toolbox, he came up, and that's where he stayed until about 8 years ago. They came to us and said, "If y'all ever thought about maybe buying the shop from us?" We're like, how? Like, that doesn't seem possible. From my background, we both grew up in our grandparents' houses, older houses. It didn't seem, honestly, we didn't take it far there for a while. After about 6 months, we started talking about it between each other. And I started looking on how it would be possible, because this is a well-established business in a good area. And, it's profitable. So you're going to need collateral. You're going to need to know how to do it, and not have to bring others in. So we found out how to do that. And last year in February, we signed papers to buy this business. Um, I will tell you, I spent a lot of my lunches and late nights, because I was a mom and I was still working 40 plus hours, and putting together a business plan and trying to figure out how we can do this. But we had about 6 years to plan, and honestly, right up to signing the papers, we were like, really, this is happening? Like, we're really doing this? We're going to work together? This is crazy. And it was unreal there for a while. It really was. But we have worked well together. I have to say, I'm quite proud with us. I was a new person coming in. I mean, everybody else had been here for a while, and I had to learn how the shop ran, because I wasn't here. I was studying it, but I wasn't physically here until a little bit like a week before we purchased. So I didn't know how to use the computer. I didn't know how to use Mitchell One. I didn't know how to do any of that. I knew a little bit about cars, but knew barely anything about transmissions. I was studying how to run the business. So I knew then I had to learn more about transmissions. So I was going to be talking to people on the phone. And I listened to him, Jonathan and Allison, and they've been working together for a long time. So, having them here to help me, it made things easier. We had a good crew, still do. They're rocking and rolling out there. This business, it has eight bays, 5 lifts. Currently, we have 3 techs, 1 builder. We are a rebuilding shop and strictly transmissions. And we don't do any general automotive, and we stay mainly with domestic vehicles.
You've been there about a year. Is that what you're saying?
We bought in February of last year. Mhm.
Oh my gosh. And that gets into so many things. It's number one, when you have folks that have a family-owned business, and then they see something in you that, oh my gosh, y'all can continue what we were doing, and then they give you the opportunity because, like you said, there's collateral. There's a lot of stuff you have to buy. Besides, if you bought the building, if you bought the business, and then keep the folks happy there. And so you've learned a lot of that. Yeah, I'm listening to your story and it's like, oh my gosh, you know, it's if folks could understand they never stop learning. And so no matter what your position, where you're at, if you're the janitor or you're the president, you always do and listen all around you, pay attention, and you figured out, hey, you got to treat people right. So many times in our industry, the techs and your employees were disposable. It was like they give you a problem. Yeah, when I hear your story about your customers smiling, you saw their first smile, and you figured out, oh my gosh, this translates into this business too, that they have an issue, they have a problem, you meet their need, and all of a sudden
Yep.
they smile because now they can get to work.
Yeah.
Now they can get their paycheck. Now they can buy food. Now they can buy groceries. Now they can buy their gas. Now they
Yep.
can drop their children off at the different places that they need to go. It's to hear you for being a younger person, you have got a lot of the stuff figured out. And it's like, oh my gosh, people need to hear this and pay attention. And you've only been there a year, but you're listening, you figured it out. And then to know, hey, you're a rebuilder. So I'm going to ask you a question.
Mhm.
You said you're mostly domestic. And when
Mhm.
we get into domestic, we can say, what is it now? Stellaris, FCA. And it's like, okay, because these new ones, you got to program them. Are y'all having issues? And you're talking, I heard you say Metro One and stuff, but and if you're a builder,
We
these new
program.
got to be
Mhm.
programmed. So you do it in house?
Yes.
And
Yep.
tell me how you figured that out. Did they already have that done when you bought it, or is this something that's advanced more? And now, are you seeing issues on the right to repair and figuring out, hey, we got to buy the subscription? There goes my mic. We got to buy the subscriptions, and we got to buy the uh,
We
the
we
equipment.
we have Snap-on equipment that came along with the business, but we have also upgraded because it is running Windows 7. So we had a list of things that we knew that were going to need to be upgraded. And that was one of them because we would be our hands behind our back if that was to stop working. Because that's one of our main program that in our we have a room here the techs use. We use HP tuners. We also have Identifix. Um, and we have ATRA if we need to call to ask them questions. They're always there for us. And then the the thing about the Snap-on, I just found this out, is Windows, they stop backing it up. So we're gonna have to send that off and have it upgraded. And they said the whole insides are good enough to upgrade. But what are we gonna do without it? So we had to get another computer so we can send that one off. So we have two diagnosticians that need computers at the same time. So but Identifix is an older, but kind of programming, but they do use it. So I kept it going. So, but we do program in-house. Every now and then, if you keep those files on there, they kind of get corrupted and you have to redo them. But that does take time. But we do what we got to do and cross train so that everybody knows what's going on. And yep, we're build and program right in-house.
You have a lot of subscriptions. And
Mhm.
now you're talking about your equipment and stuff. So when you talk about cross training and stuff, what shows are y'all going to besides ATRA? And ATRA is going to be at Apex this year at the same time.
Yes.
Last year
So
it was like a week before.
yeah, so we hit up all the local HRA programs. They did actually go to HP Tuners over in Biloxi. Yeah, I think it was Biloxi. And so anything that Jonathan can find that the guys can go, we take them. We do they also we have training incentives. So if they want to watch anything on YouTube or anything like that, all they need to take is a screenshot, and they email it to me, and that's part of their training incentive. But we usually just tell them how important it is, and them as a team member to their knowledge gets brought in here, it makes us stronger. So they do good at it.
So, which ones do you go to? Do you go to Vision? Do you go to, and of course, I guess you'll be at Apex.
Well, we were going to go to Las Vegas this year. We went to Nashville on the ATRA seminar there. But this year we have our builder is having a baby. And so that was one thing that we were like, well, I don't know. We want to close and take everybody. But him and diagnostician are both the ones that would greatly like benefit from it. So what we're going to do is we're all going to just purchase it, and we're all going to watch it. We're not going to go this year, even though we wanted to. Everybody understood, but it's always next year. But we always go to the Biloxi. Jonathan and I, we are ATRA. He's the ATRA chapter president in the area, so we try to keep that going, keep it interesting, get the giveaways. Tiffany came this year. She helped us out. That was helpful because this year was lower than normal, but we have hit like 120 at the Biloxi seminar over at the IP Casino, and we always like mess with them. We're like, all right, guys, we got to have some good food, okay? Because it's in the South. Let's get some fried chicken and some pulled pork or something. They always bring it, so it's good. So that keeps them coming. That and the training, of course, but they like the food.
Crystal, I'm so impressed with y'all having been there and taken over just 1 year. And to hear you say that, to hear the involvement, impressed
Thank you.
with these folks that you're bringing on, Tiffany.